Okay, let's run through some of the stuff that you need for the brew. I've got obviously my can of Cooper's Irish Stout. It's been sitting in here for about 10 minutes in boiling water. That just loosens it up and makes it easier for it to come out. Can opener, this has obviously been sanitised. You need your fermentation bucket, the 23 litre fermentation bucket. My one has got a thermometer, stick-on thermometer on there, just to keep an eye on the temperature while it's brewing. This has just been sanitised as well. You need a stirrer to stir it all in. As well as the brew, you will need some sugar. 1 kilogram of sugar while you're brewing, but on this instance, I've not tried this before, I'm using dextrose sugar, 1 kilogram. I've read that it gives good results, but we'll give it a try, see how it goes. Can't do any harm. I've also got my lock for the top of the fermentation, got a thermometer. I've also got my big jug for topping up with water because I haven't got a hose. And this is what I use to sanitize all the equipment with. Really good stuff. You just put a bit in, it's all the instructions are on there of what to do. Put some in, give it a good clean, leave it for a little while, tip it out, give it a good rinse with water, and then away you go. And obviously, the yeast. So, first step is to open the can. Let's go over that way. Okay, so let's open this can. Oh, you can smell it already. Oh, all malty and hoppy. Let's open the can. Hopefully, because it's been sitting in the water for a while, it will come out a bit easier. And pour it into your fermentation bucket. I've just boiled a kettle as well. That does help get the rest of it out with hot water, but do beware, it gets very hot, this tin, surprisingly hot. So I'll just pour a little bit in there. Now I get the stirrer and just give it a bit of a stir around, just to try and loosen up. And give it a good wipe round. Get as much out of the can that you can. Really is quite warm. Okay, so that's that. Just a little rinse. Okay, next stage. What I do now is I'll put a kettle of boiling water in there. Re-boil the kettle, or half the kettle. Put that back on, and then add the sugar, and then give it a good mix until all the sugar's dissolved. It can take a few minutes for it to all dissolve, but just do it slowly and steadily. You get all the aromas coming up as you're doing this with the steam. Sorry if the kettle's a bit noisy because you've got to re-boil half a kettle. that's it, 1 kilogram of dextrose sugar. So I can take that so you can see it. Full of loveliness. Okay, that's that. The ideal temperature to keep the brew at is around about 21 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. But around about 21 degrees Celsius is the ideal temperature for the brew. Just going to put a little bit more warm water in, a little bit more hot water, and then I shall top it up with cold water up to the 23 litre mark, which is there. In fact, I'll go just below the 23 litre mark. So 23 litres is 40 pints, but I generally set it to about 37 pints, something like that. I just find it just gives a little bit more body to it. Okay, that's enough of that. And then we just add cold water. You can use bottled water. I just tend to use tap water. This does take a bit of time, this, so I might put a bit of music on and speed it up a bit. That's it. So we're just below the 23 litres. Get a bit of a stir. Okay, what I do next is I'll take a start gravity reading from the hydrometer. And the way I do that is that on there, it's all sanitised. I've got one of these turkey basters. It's just been sterilised, same as this has been sterilised. So you don't get all the foam and everything. I just gently put that in there. And then I can take a start gravity reading. I'll explain all that in a moment if you don't already know. Might be enough in there. And you just pop your hydrometer in. I might need a little bit more so I can see the numbers easier. Okay, so the reading I'm trying to get is the start gravity reading, which means you can work out the alcohol percentage from this. And this is how much sugar density, how dense the brew is. And then when you put your yeast in and it's fermented, you then, the yeast converts the sugar into alcohol, so it eats it, and then you do a reading after that, and you then do a calculation between the two readings, which gives you your ABV percentage. I always find these difficult to read, You need to get as accurate as possible. Okay, so that's the, so it's 0.3, 2, 0.34 is the reading on that. So I'll jot that down, and then we'll go from there. Next stage is literally just pop. What I'm going to do is wait for it to be the right temperature, which, like I say, about 21 degrees. I haven't measured the temperature yet. Actually, let's do that first. It's a little bit warm at the moment, probably because I put that extra bit of boiling water in. And it's reading 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's reading 26 degrees, which is a little bit warm. It's not too bad, but it's a little bit warm. I'm going to wait for it to go down a couple of degrees. And then I'll put the yeast in, just scatter gently the yeast all over. I generally give just a very little stir, just to mix it at the top. I don't vigorously stir the yeast in, I just do a little stir. And then if needed, I'll put my heater band around it, or I've got a heat pad and a heat band. So if I find it's too cold in this weather, I will put the heater on. But it's summer now, allegedly. It's not too cold, so I think I'll be all right without a heater. May take a day or two longer. Then I'll do another gravity reading. If it's finished fermenting, it's then bottling time. So I'll be back and show you the bottling. Take care, see you soon. Bye. Okay, I've now got the brew where it's going to be living for the next couple of weeks while it's fermenting. It's about 23 degrees now, so I'm just going to sprinkle the yeast all the way around, as even as possible. Get it all in there, every last bit. There we go. And like I said, I just give it a gentle little stir, that's all I do. I don't go mad with it. Just a little stir. Try not to get the yeast all over your spatula, all over your stirrer. And then I pop the lid on. Make sure you get the lid in really tightly, because you don't want the air to escape, or the carbon dioxide to escape through the lid. You want it to escape through the lock. Then I put my lock in. Maybe I should have put the water in afterwards, but the lock's in. Normally you leave it for about between a week to 2 weeks. Normally it's about 12 days. Then, like I say, do another reading on the hydrometer, and if it's ready, bottle it, or put in a barrel, or whatever you're doing. I used to put mine in a barrel, but I found it just lives longer and tastes better in a bottle. So yeah, I'll show you the bottling process in between a week and 2 weeks time. See you then. Bye.